Let's see if I'm live. Okay. All right, guys, I am live. How are you doing? Hope you guys are well. My name is Dr. Charnel Wolverton Sehon, and I just got out of the shower because my clocks aren't changed back, and I'm a little bit behind doing things, trying to figure this out. But tonight I'm going to teach a bit about essential oils and just the basics. We're going to be together for a little bit and talk about things like frequency. We're going to talk about the difference between organic and actual and fake oils. We're going to talk about how they work with the limbic system, because they really do. And what is the limbic system and how does that work, and what do we do with the limbic system with our body? Hey guys, yay, I'm so glad. I know those of you who are getting the biofeedback right now, the live biofeedback from the group from last night, it's still running, and it will be running at least until Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of cleaning done today, and just it did give me a little bit of a boost. So thanks for reminding me, Heather, and welcome Dennis, Patricia, Heather. We'll see who else is here. There's some other people in Divine Science. And anyway, so we're going to talk about what the FDA guidelines are. Hey, Debbie, for an essential oil, because that's kind of a big deal. We're going to talk about, can you be allergic to oils? We're going to talk about cleaning supplies and essential oils and the difference. We're going to talk about intuition. We're going to talk about the best ways to apply it. So we're going to go over quite a few different things, and I hope that you guys have paper and pen or pencil, and that you're going to be able to take notes. So I have been using essential oils for, since 2009. Again, for those of you who just jumped on, sorry that I just got out of the shower and have that just get out of the shower look. My clocks weren't turned back completely, and kind of lost track of time thinking that I had another hour. So there's that. But it's okay. Hey, I'm going with it. Just if you can put up with how I look. But I've been using essential oils since 2009. I was actually introduced to it in 2008, but I kind of thought it was frou-frou, and I came from a ministry background. I was doing ministry full-time at the time. And basically I went to go teach a dreams and visions class in Meridian, Mississippi. And when I was there, there was a lady there who was really all into the oils. And I was going through a lot of health issues at the time. And she kept referring me to this guy, Dr. Lucky, who now is just a bestie for me. But at the time I was like, I don't really want to go see another doctor, because I kind of had given up. I had been like 6 or 7 years of really, really feeling bad and not really seeing a whole lot of answers. So it was a little bit frustrating and disappointing, and I was just kind of hopeless, to be honest. To go see another doctor didn't sound like anything I wanted to invest my time in. But I did, and I'm very glad that I did, because basically it was life-changing, like completely life-changing, totally changed the trajectory of my life, literally, in all the ways, mentally, spiritually. I changed my entire career over it. I went back to school to become a doctor after spending time with him and Dr. David Stewart and Gary Young. At the end of that meeting of the dream, first when I went and see Dr. Lucky, some of you guys may have heard the story, but basically he's got a lot of machines, and so do I. But he says, and it's true, and I've found out this over and over, is 86% of all physical issues are really actually emotional. So if we could clear out emotions and help with emotions, then the physical kind of just dissipates. When he tested me, he found 29 markers for emotional issues. And when I started using the oils, I got it down all the way to 4. And the reason why that works is because your limbic, this is your frontal lobe, but your limbic system is behind that. And your limbic system is basically like the library of your emotions, the seat of your emotions. And when you go through something emotionally or physically, that limbic system determines if you can handle it or not. And if you can handle it, then it clears. It usually clears between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. If you're sleeping during that time. If it doesn't clear, it could be a lot of different reasons why. Number one, it could be because it's too overwhelming. It could be that it's something that's repetitively happened over and over again, and now it just seems like too much because of the pattern. It could be something traumatic that happens or sudden that happens that your body just can't catch up. So, and then also if it's like an authority figure type person that brings the trauma, then that can cause a little more stick and it won't clear as well. And then of course you can have a combination of all those things too. So it could be like, you have a coach who did something terrible to you and did it multiple times, and then it was like maybe a couple times of those were sudden and you weren't expecting it. That's going to have a lot more stick. Does that make sense? You guys understand what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So your body automatically clears it usually between 3 to 5 if they don't have those issues, and if you're sleeping. If you're not sleeping, it usually won't clear. And if there's too much stick, the limbic system basically goes, okay, this is too much for her. So we're just going to put this on a shelf somewhere until she can deal with it or he can deal with it. And it goes into a body organ or a muscle somewhere in the body until you can deal with it. And it could stay dormant for a few weeks, or it could stay dormant for months or years or decades. But when it starts to activate, usually if some similar thing happens, it'll trigger or bump into it, and it triggers and it causes a reaction, and it will cause symptoms in that organ. So if it's like a knee that it's stored out, and maybe the knee starts to swell, or if it's an arm or shoulder, then maybe it'll lock up or start causing pain or inflammation or tendonitis, or different things can happen, migraines, things like that. So when you use essential oils, especially if they're Young Living essential oils, which I have lots of them, and you probably have seen them in the background here of just what I use. And I'll talk to you about why I use Young Living versus another company. I've done thorough testing, and so is Dr. Lucky, and I have both studied many companies to look into this to make sure what's the best and why, and what FDA guidelines are, which I'm going to go into next. But when you use a real oil, whether it's Young Living or what other company, I've only found one other company besides Young Living that actually was real, and that is Swiss Aromatics out of California. They only have maybe 40 products, 40 different oils, so they don't have a lot to choose from, and they have very limited farms, so their inventory isn't very easy to get. Young Living has multiple farms all over the world, and I've been to almost all of them. So I've seen how they do everything, and I know like the growing process and the seeding process and the harvest process and distilling process. Matter of fact, I'm going to Japan in April to go one of the farms there, but I've been to Croatia. I've been to France several times. There's multiple farms there. I've been to Canada. I've been to Ecuador. I've been to, Greece, Oh, I'm trying to remember all the places. London or England, I should say. Why am I blanking out? New Zealand, Australia. Australia does the Australian blue. Anyway, like lots over the decade, over 12 years that I travel with Gary. I went to several farms, and then since then I've been to several farms. Hawaii has sandalwood. Croatia does the helichrysum. Also been to Turkey. I've been to Oman, which is where the frankincense is grown. So yeah, I've dug in the dirt, and I've been in the fields, and I've distilled the Melissa and all of them, most of them. So I know the difference, and we'll get into that. But um, there's somebody on here that says Facebook user. I'm not sure what your name is, but if you could put your name, that would help me a lot. Anyway, but so when you use the essential oils with the limbic system, what happens is, this is, like I said, the frontal lobe, behind natural limbic system. This is the decision-making area. That's the emotional seat. When you breathe in the essential oils, if they're a real oil and not have any kind of carrier, not have any kind of propylene glycol or all the other stuff that we have found when we tested, so if you breathe it in, there's different ways to do it, but for this particular thing, as far as clearing, you breathe it in, it goes past the olfactory system, and it goes past the frontal lobe, and it goes straight into the limbic system. Basically tells the limbic system, hey, it's okay, you can let it all go. And it starts the process of letting go of all those things that have been stuck and that have been dormant. When I did this, I thought that it was really hokey. I thought, whatever, to be honest. There was a kit that Dr. Lucky told me about, which I can give you that information if you guys are interested in it. But I used this kit that has some basic oils in it. It cost about $165 plus shipping and tax, which some of you may have that kit. It's called the premium kit. And it's just a basic emergency kit for essential oils, and it does come with a diffuser. And I also throw in, if you order it from me, I also throw in free biofeedback scan with diagnostics reports, the clearing, and the consultation. So that's free with it, which normally all of that, just the consultation part and all that, is $222. If you get the kit, that comes free. Plus you get a free diffuser that's over $100 just itself. So you're getting about $250 worth of oils. You're getting $222 worth of all the biofeedback, diagnostics, clearing, and consultation. And then you're also getting a $100 diffuser for $165 plus shipping. So, or tax. So if that's something you're interested in, please do put your name in here and I can send you a link. But anyway, some of you have that already. So I'm just talking to you about that. When I did this, again, I thought it was dumb. I'm just being honest. Even when, I don't know if it was like the spiritual side that seemed weird or the science side that seemed weird. I had not learned about the frequency of the oils yet, or the ORAC scale of the oils yet, but we can do a part 2 on that. And I just got that kit. I started sniffing oils pretty regular. I did not know how to use them. I was putting them, on the bottom of my feet, which is one of the places that has the pores are most open. Which is incidentally interesting because when we shower, if you use chemical products, shampoos and soaps that are harmful, which most of them are, you're standing in all that. So that absorbs into the bloodstream, into the body really easy. And then, of course, you're washing your hands and then you're washing your scalp. So your crown, your hands, and your feet are where chemicals can mostly be absorbed. So, if you could do that with the oils, that'd be a lot better. And that's why we have a lot of products for cleaning your hair, washing your hands, cleaning your clothes, showering, things like that too, because that's a big part of our everyday upkeep. And we don't want to be using chemicals that cause cancer or histamine issues or inflammation issues, when we could be using products that are not only smell good and are antibacterial, well, I guess I'm not supposed to say that, but all the things that they're good for that I'm not going to say, but you can kind of fill in the blanks of what all they do, you know, regarding pain, cells, wellness, support, and all that. But also helps with that limbic system issue where it starts to clear. So again, I had 29 markers when I started, and 16 weeks after using that main kit, I dropped down to four markers. That's it. So I dropped down the markers. I also lost about 80 pounds. Did not change my diet at all. I have to admit that I was on a terrible diet, like mostly Coca-Cola, Rice Krispies, and Doritos at the time. I'm not kidding, and that's not something I'm bragging about. I'm just being honest. But then when I started losing weight, I was like, well, gosh, I wonder what would happen if I tried. So I started trying, meaning I was more conscious of what I was putting into my body at that moment. But yes, what is the Royal Highness? Yes, I still don't know who the Facebook user is. I see that you've asked, how do you clear that up? And is there limbic system cleanse? Yes, I just gave the limbic system cleanse, and that's how you clear it up. That's one of the ways to clear it up. So basically, that is kind of the nutshell of kind of how I was introduced to it. Going through and looking at some of the things that we said we were talking about. That's how they remove trauma. And it removes right from the cells. How does it remove from the cells? Because you can also have memory in your cells and in your organs. Because Young Living has such tiny, tiny molecules in the actual oils, and there's no carrier or no propylene glycol, no chemicals, they can go past the brain barrier and the blood barrier. Meaning, if you put them on neat on your skin, meaning neat means there's no other carrier, there's no other thing, it's just the straight oil from the plant, which is the blood or the resin of the plant, into the skin, it will suck in your skin and go right into your bloodstream. I do live blood analysis, and I've seen many, many befores and afters of just 10 seconds later of what someone's entire blood looks like within seconds of putting oils on topically, if they're real oils. Now, if they're fake oils, they sit on top. And if you use a carrier, it sits on top. So you don't want to use a carrier. A carrier has really, really fat molecules, and maybe it would be good if you had a burn, or if you're trying to do something with your skin where you want it to stay on top. But if you want it to go down and deep, you don't want to use a carrier. But now, how do you tell what a real oil is or a fake oil? That gets tricky because the FDA guidelines have changed quite a bit. When I first got into this, I had a lot of fake oils that I didn't know were fake, and I never bought them, but people had given them to me over the years, and I never knew. I thought it was just like a smelling thing, like kind of like a perfume, and didn't know how harmful they were. I call them gas station oils. I mean, you could get some of them at like Christian bookstores as well, or like spiritual stores. But most every oil that I had and every oil that I've seen on the market does have a label on that will say something like organic or 100% natural, or whatever, different ways that you think that means it's a real oil. But when we started really going deep and we did third-party testing, Dr. Lucky and I did, and when we outsourced all this testing, I was so surprised to find out most of the bottles that we sent off contained 98 and 99% not oil in the bottle. It was mostly propylene glycol or carriers, or actually we found a lot of really nefarious stuff in there, like demonic stuff in there, like to me. And I could not understand why there would be like semen or feces or urine or different weird stuff in there. And I started realizing, wow, this could be a way to affect the DNA, and have a source to get into the DNA similar to a satanic ritual. and most of these places were selling to Christian bookstores and or to spiritual people, not realizing that they were opening themselves up to like entities, basically. Plus, not to mention, if you're using chemicals, that is only a 25 on consciousness, and 25 on consciousness is entities, dead things. So you start the dying process at 25. We want to be at 1,000, if that gives you any kind of ratio of what's good and bad. 25 is terrible. So, yes, I'm just looking at the questions while we were a meme about buying. Yes, at the gas station. Yes. So, and look, if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to put them in here while I'm talking. It just helps me to know who you are. So, if you could tell me your name too, that helps a lot, instead of just Facebook user, because that's all I can see on some of these. But anyway, so when we talked to the FDA to find out what in the world, why is this bottle, and I'm making up a bottle. I have a few that I just keep for show, but when we looked at these bottles, I was like, why does this bottle contain, all this stuff in it that we found? But if you look on the label, it says 100% natural. It has 100% therapeutic, organic, or whatever, these different things that they were saying. The FDA said that their guideline is, as long as there's 3% of an oil in the entire bottle, that they can label it. They have permission to label it 100% organic or 100% therapeutic grade A, which I think is ridiculous. And I asked them, why can you do that? And they said, because we're not saying that the entire bottle contains 100%. We're saying that the oil is 100%. And they don't have to tell you what else is in the bottle, which is insane. So, kind of like if you go look for cranberry juice right now, if you went to a local Walmart or a grocery store, good luck. You could go and you could see, basically that it'll say natural or organic or whatever. But if you flip it over on the back, hold on, let me just tell my daughter that I'm live. One second. Where was I? Tell me where I was. Oh, hey, Eric and Nancy. Thank you. They can tell you, they can label it 100%, even though only 3% are in the bottle, because they're talking about 3%. And going back to the cranberry juice, same thing. The good thing is with food, you can turn it around and you can look, because they have to put the ingredients and they have to put it in the order of what everything is. So if it's mostly sugar, that's going to be the top ingredient. Whatever is the least amount is going to be at the very, very end. And they have to go through and tell you what percentage and or what's in it. So for example, cranberry juice, you can turn it around and go, oh, this is 97% fructose, and this is only 3% cranberry juice. And then oh, this isn't a real full on cranberry juice, even though it says 100%. With the oils, they don't make you put on the back the breakdown, which I also think is a joke, because that's harming people and it's not healthy. And people are being tricked, in my opinion, thinking that they're getting a real 100% essential oil, and they're really not. So that's a little bit alarming to me. And I think education is a big, big deal. Like I said, I've seen oils at like TJ Maxx and Target and probably Best Buy and gas station and whoever. I mean, Walmart, I've even seen oils, and I'm just like, that's not even a real oil. Also, if you go to Amazon or eBay or anything, you can actually get Young Living oils. But the problem is, when we've tested them, it's illegal to sell the oils. No one's allowed to be selling the oils on those platforms, because then it's not actually Young Living. That's some person selling it. Well, we were getting complaints. We at Young Living were getting complaints from people who were using oils and having really, really bad reactions. And so we asked them, send us the bottle. And when we would get the bottle, there were all kinds of stuff in these bottles. And what people were doing is taking a bottle like this, and they were buying it from Young Living, but then they were reformulating, like taking all the oil out, putting just a little bit each in a bunch of different bottles, and they were taking glue and basically resealing this little seal thing to look like it was never used, which it was. And it's really easy to do that. I mean, I don't want to teach anybody to do that, but it just fits in like a little puzzle piece. Let's see, my glasses aren't on, but yeah, you can put this back up. Well, there, you could put it back up. Well, you can't see that side. I got the front done anyway, but you can seal this back up and it looks brand new. And then they're reselling it on Amazon and eBay, and you're getting some fake shit. So not cool. Don't ever buy your oils from eBay or Amazon, even if it has a Young Living tag on it. I always get from either the distributor that I'm working with or the company direct, just because I know that they're not going to screw things over. And again, if you're interested, I have a link for you for anyone who's, trying to get their health back, get their emotions back, clear genetic different things from their ancestors, and clear their emotions. And I mean, of course, it does other things too, tons and tons of other things. But I'm just saying, I never thought of it as emotional. I never thought of it as clearing your DNA. Chemistry, if you've ever studied the chemistry of the oils, there are sesquiterpenes, there's monoterpenes, there's phenols, there's a whole bunch of different things. But I have a PMS system. Well, I didn't make it up, but there is a PMS system, which basically the oil, not PMS as in like that thing that comes monthly for a lot of women, but PMS is phenols, monoterpenes, and sesquiterpenes. And when you have a cell, Facebook user. Okay, you're Cheryl. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know who you are. For those who, I will put this in like, give me like 15 minutes and I can put it in as soon as we get this going. But basically, gosh, I'm sorry, I got distracted. What was I saying? Remind me what I was talking about. I'm going to try to find that link before I forget. I think it's on the front of my Facebook page. Maybe not. Yes, it is. Okay. I think there's a way to give that copy link. StreamYard. Let's see if this works. Paste. Wow. I don't know if that's going to work, but that looks really crazy. Okay, no. Molecules. Yes, phenol. Thank you. PMS. You guys are awesome. When you have a cell, whatever could be coded incorrectly or some negative pattern or some genetic issue, the phenols will clean it off. If it's dirty, or there becomes a coating on the cells as you have a junk diet, or you're around chemicals, or you're breathing in the stuff from the air, or drinking all the stuff from the water. The cells are affected, especially by the chemicals from cleaning supplies and what have you. But when we use phenols, phenols will clear that cell right off. The monoterpenes will deprogram the negative programs, and the sesquiterpenes reprogram to a God program. So there's a whole process of actually clearing, deprogramming, and reprogramming to each of the cells to a higher frequency and a higher outcome. Again, there's also frequency into the oils. So there's like lavender's 118 megahertz. Frankincense is like 152. Helichrysum's 157. Idaho blue spruce has not officially been tested. I know a lot of people say that it's like 500 and something, but they haven't tested it actually. But rose is the highest, and it's over 300 megahertz, which is really good for megahertz. I'm not talking about scalar waves. I'm talking about megahertz. So an adult on a healthy day is 67. If you start getting low, you start the dying process, you know, in the 25s. You start getting like sick and flu. Not you, but people will get sick, like with flu or viruses when you drop below 67. You'll have respiratory issues, inflammation. You could have flus, digestion issues, all of that. And lower you get. Cancer starts at like 45, and the lower. Once someone hits 25, they're in the dying process or dead. And what's interesting is after people die, they're still not zero. It takes like weeks, a couple weeks to even hit the zero mark. Not really sure why that happens, but it happens. So it looks like that link did not go. So let me try this. Young Living. There we go. This should work, maybe. How many people, I'll be curious, how many people have Young Living oils? How many people, this is your first time you've ever even heard anybody talk about any of this while I'm getting this for you? I would be very curious to see. Heather does. I know Charlene's on here and she has used them. StreamYard, let me do this. I'm going to enter the studio and add this real quick. That way we can have it. Okay. Ooh, that's bad. Let's see if that goes up. You might have to copy. The link is in UT and it works. You tried it?